Hello everyone, so we are going to see loops in today videos like loops in Java. So let's start with the presentation first and then move to the code part. So where is my presentation? It's here. So basically we have three types of loops generally in Java. Like first is do while and for loops. So that's do while is work like that. If we already execute a loop, do while always run one more time in comparison of while loop. Let's see first syntax of that, and later we'll get understanding in a program too about this. So the syntax of do while is like that. If we have to put a code here, and after that if a condition fulfills again and again, then only our code will execute. If a single once in a while or single time our condition gets broke or false getting false, so it will not execute again, but before that it will execute again and again and again up to our. Let's move to the while now. While loop is work like that. Let's see an example. Yes, so example of while loop is like that. We just need to use while in a bracket like syntax, and I initialize I equal to 1, and if I is less than 6, it means if value of I is less than 6, it will execute this code again and again up to I is less than 6. So I am incrementing that value after particular line of I, that it will run up to 5 times, because I will increment up to 6, and when I value of I is equal to 6, then it becomes the loop false and that code will not execute further. So our output is hello world 5 times. So let's move to the for loop. So basically these loops are used to iterate thing, like if we want to do a thing again and again by changing simple things, so we use loops. We are not going to do that manually by writing code in 100 lines, in 1000 lines of code. We just use loops and initialize that loop up to 1000, and it will run the statement again and again up to the 1000 values. That's how we can use loops. Let's move to the other loop now. That is for loops, and that commonly used loop. One of the commonly most used loop are is for loops. We have to put like syntax is like first from you want to start and end and increment decrement up as per your conditions situations. So the example of for loop in which we have initializing I equal to 1 and it goes up to less than equal to, that's a math operator. We already seen that in the maths in our studies, so that's not going to be difficult to for you. So it's 1 goes up to the 10th value, and it will increment again and again after 1 second of code execute. Like in the first section, I value of I equal to 1, and it will run system.println. Inside that is equal to, it will print I equal to 1, and after that it's increment that value to 2, and it still that condition is fulfilling, so it will print again that value and it goes up to the 10th value. After that 10 becomes 11, I equal to 10 value becomes 11, it becomes that loop false. So after that it will not print the further values. So before that will it already print counting 1 to 10 in our output. So that's how we use loops, and let's see clearly a presentation of that things in our codes now for better understanding. So let's move to the code now. Let's create first project now for loops in Java using IntelliJ. So that's our application, and that's the main method. In Java, everything runs from the main method. So let's start with the do while. Let's start with while. Uh, Initialize the value of I 2 1 and this loop will run for 4 times. I will print value of I in each row. And increment it after that. If you do not increment that, it will run again and again, and it will hang your system or it become unresponsive because it will never get out of that loop. So we have to give a exit point for every loop, so it becomes efficient and useful. So let's run this. It will surely run for 4 times. Let's see in that output. So yes, our values come to 1 to 4. And after that, let's see now do while. The difference between while and do while that I was talking about a bit earlier. Let's see now. That's our section and that's condition. Same condition, I less than 5. But we are printing again I value here. But now let's see the difference between while and do while. See the output now. Oh, I did a mistake. We need to initialize that value again because I is already greater than 4, so it will not run like that, like above. So we just need to run I initialize I again here with value 1, so it will run up to 5. So let's run this again and let's see the output. Okay, so I did a mistake here. I did not give that loop a exit point, so it will run again and again and it's become unresponsive after a period of time. So like this that I given here, exit point. Just need to increment I value here. Now let's run. I think now it will work. Yes, so what we got here, we got our value. So what I'm trying to explain here, if we initialize our values with 5 and let's run the code and let's see which one of the loop will run now. So let's see. So you can see that the below loop is executed now because do while loop will execute at least one time if the condition remains false. That's not the same case with the while loop. So that's the difference between while and do while. Do while always runs at least one time, but while can be run like a 0 time too, but that's not the case with do while. So if we change the value, let's see. If we put here let's see, one we put here 1 and 1 here 2, and let's change that one and run that again. You can see that the above loop will run 4 times and the lower will run at 1 time. That's not what I'm trying to show. Let's change that to now. Yes, now it will run. Yes, but I want. So let's see now. You can see that the below loop will executed again. So that's how do while works, and while works while do while run at least one time. So let's move to the other loop now. That's for loop. So let's start the syntax. Initialize the value variable with something value like 0 and up to which you want to run that loop. After that, increment, decrement, whatever you want. Now code. Now simply we will print value of I, so that we can see that output right here. For loop output, let's add that and just run this code. So let's see how for loop will work. So we can see that our loop will run up to 9. So why? Because 0 to 9, that's the condition we have. Less than operator will not include the 10, and it will increment up to the 10th value. So we can do various type of things using these loops. Let's if I give you output, I'll give you example. uh, Firstly we can print star. Some patterns like questions comes under programming interviews, like if we want to print star, and if we put another loop here, nested loop, that's the case. It will run, well, as you can see that if we change it to k, it will run 100 times, because for the value of 0, k equal to 0, the below loop will run 10 times, and when the value of k is 1 2 3, the below loop will run 10 times again and again and again, up to k equal to 9. So let's see the output now. So the length of the loop we cannot count like this, so I will just give this code a little extra bit of presentation. Give me a second. So it will print the value in a single line. After that, now we can easily separate things, easily see. Let's see the output. Yes, so that's what I'm trying to show you, the patterns things, patterns questions. If you count the star here, it will end up in 100. So that you can increase or decrease something like that by using loops. We can print a pattern like this. So let's see again what happened now. So it will increase up to 10, that count, because in every row there are 1000 stars, 100 stars, and it goes up to 100 times. So that's the use of loops, and we can use loops like if we want uh, let's just remove that code. If I want to repeat the action again and again, like I want a table of 2 3 10 whatever, so what I'm going to do, int table number equal to, let's take a table of 9, and initialize with this like this, and system dot whatever, let's take like this. Now print here table number. Let's see the output now. So we can get tables like this. So according to the situation, we have to use loops in our program. So that's all for this video. Thank you.